Hello and welcome to a Careers in the Curriculum video with Pathway CTM. As you know, this is part of our series, and what we're helping students do is look at different subjects and understand, what can I do with that subject that I really love? What kind of job can I do? What roles out there exist? Teachers, you will be using these videos to help your students understand where they can go. So you might be studying GCSEs or A-levels at the moment and have a passion for certain subjects. Hopefully today you'll have a passion for physics, because that's what we're talking about. So it's a physics video. As you know as well, these videos do not exist by me alone. I always have to have a volunteer with me. And that volunteer today is Sam. And I'm going to introduce her. So Sam, welcome to the video. Tell us who you are, tell us what you do, please, and can tell us who you do it for as well.
Hi everyone, my name is Sam McBriar and I work for a company called Thales, which is a big global company. It's actually got headquarters in France and operations all over the world. And we help secure operations for customers like the Royal Navy, the Army, the Home Office, all different kinds of customers, energy companies and financial institutions as well. So we make lots of interesting products and we sell them all over the world. My job is a strategy director. So I'm on our leadership team in the UK and I help the business work out where it's going to go in the future, what products it needs to make and what technologies are going to be important for us to stay relevant.
I remember you said earlier, Sam, that we were talking, you said you're a strategy director and it's for the naval and maritime business, right?
That's right, yes.
Did you always know that you were going to get into the naval and maritime business, or did you just happen upon it in your career as you discovered more things?
I happened upon it completely. In fact, I started working on aeroplane engines when I first started work. But I really quite like the technology in complex machines like an aeroplane or a warship or a submarine. You know, it's just mind-blowing, everything that goes into that. So you can move around with a sort of scientific background or an engineering background to lots of different types of projects and markets.
Brilliant. And as we said, but this is a physics video, so we are going to talk about physics. How far did you study physics?
So I chose it for GCSE and then for A-level. And I also used it quite a lot in my degree, which was materials science and engineering.
Okay, so it all links in. So you studied physics up to A-level, and then it was involved in your degree, material science and engineering. Students, you may be thinking, oh, I love physics, but I just don't know where I can apply this in the real world. Well, these are opportunities that you're seeing, and everything that Sam has mentioned so far, and we've talked about, aerospace engineering, we're talking about the naval and maritime business. And so there are options and there are opportunities there. So Sam, I suppose I want to know what excited you about physics. Okay, I'll say it's a weird subject to be excited about because I found it very difficult. I struggle with physics, but what excited you about it?
So for me, it started to explain how things work in the world at a kind of big level. So I found biology was quite micro and chemistry, but abstract in some ways, whereas physics was really about the world and how things worked. I particularly like the mechanical side of physics. So things like how, I don't know, things like how magnets work, just explain loads of concepts that you could think, well, I've no idea. You know, the theory of flight, for example, that was great. Understanding how an aircraft flies, how an engine works, all those sort of things I found really interesting.
Brilliant. Okay, so then we talk about your role. You're a strategy director. When I think about it, and I'm sure students are probably sitting there thinking strategy director, like you rule that business and you're in charge of departments. How does your physics then get used? I'm imagining it's probably you're not used on a day-to-day basis, but it must be involved in your role somehow. So how does it get involved?
Yeah, it isn't on a day-to-day basis, but there are certain times where I need to do a project to look at what does a new technology mean for us? Is that something we need to invest in? Is it something we need to do ourselves to make us better as a business, or is it something we need to work with another small company in? So you've got to really understand the basics of the technology to a level to be able to explain why it's important to creating a customer benefit because it's all about the customer in my job. You know, how is this going to really allow them to drive the submarine better, detect something better, increase the net zero credentials of an operation, allow a robot to operate, all those kind of things. You've got to be able to sort of have that conversation with a scientist or an engineer working in the business. And we've got loads of them in our company. Most of our employees are engineers or scientists, so it does help with that translation role.
So it is quite important then, because of that knowledge that you do have in physics, like you just said. And students, think about it, that knowledge that you have is applied in so many different ways. And in Sam's case, setting the strategy, setting the direction that a business is going to move in. If you have that knowledge, it's important, because then it enables you to be able to explain it to people, to customers, and to the people you work with. Now, Sam, when we talk about physics and we talk about your role as a strategy director, and you work for a business at the moment, it's naval and maritime. Was that always your ambition? Did you always know you were going to go into this area, or did you start slightly differently and then explore certain things and realize that physics could take you a long way, and the other things that you'd studied could take you into different paths that you might enjoy?
Yeah, I mean, I started off as a research scientist in a company that was actually an automotive company, and I was only there for about a year before the business changed and I moved on. And in fact, they'd employed me through my degree during my summer holiday, so I built up a relationship with that company. But when I realised I needed to find a new job, I thought, well, I'm really interested in the airline and aero engine business, and I've heard Rolls-Royce is a really great company. So I managed to get a job with them as an engineer, looking at products and materials and helping them repair their engines so they could get them up in the air really quickly. So it's completely different. So if you're a research scientist, often it's quite a slow, you know, you need to do lots of detail and you need to build evidence. Whereas I was then working with airline customers who are very focused on getting their aircraft up in the air as quickly as possible. So it's all about speed. And could you approve something to be used as quickly as possible? So that was quite exciting, because I did lots of travel with that job to go and help fix things. And then you get the immediate reward of doing that. So I worked there for a couple of years, and then I moved geographical location and needed to find a new job. And I picked up a job on a submarine program, which is completely different. But in many ways, I used similar skills, but I was more in a project, a big project then, which had been running a number of years, and it was going into an exciting phase with lots of risks to deal with and lots of things to help the customer understand. So that's when I did that, and it's really moved then through lots of different roles that I haven't planned at all. But I've worked in sales. Business development, which is a bit like sales, but you're working much earlier in the cycle. And the strategy job just came up by accident, really. It was something I got told about by a mentor. So when you're in a job, you often have people that help you look for the next job. So you're not on your own. Obviously, you own your own career. You've got to make it happen, but you ask for help. And someone said, I think you'd be good at doing the strategy work. And from there, I brought the analytical work from physics, some of the conceptual ideas as well. So thinking about big complex business problems, you break them down a bit like you break down a scientific problem. And then you've got to do research, analysis, understand what the competition are doing, understand the technology horizon. So it was really a really good mix for me of business and tech together.
Interesting. So it's really great to see how your career has moved and changed. And students, when you watch this and you think, okay, look, I might be 16, 17, 18 doing GCSEs or A levels, this is way too much to think about in the future. I get it, it kind of is, but it isn't as well, because it can show you that you don't need all the answers now. But you, as your career progresses, look at what you enjoy and look at what you're good at and see what opportunities open themselves to you. And there was a couple of pieces or a couple of things that Sam said that I really want to pick up on as students. You know, Sam, you said that during university, whilst you were doing your degree, you were working at that company, I think, during the summer holidays, and that built a relationship that meant that once you graduated, you had an opportunity to go into. So that kind of, I would say that gave you a step up, but you made it yourself because you went and did the work and you made the connection, right?
I did, yeah. But it was great because they came and visited the university, this company, and they were looking for people. And I had to do an assessment centre with this company, and everything they assessed me on were completely non-technical. It was all about behaviour, problem solving, skills that lots of different people have. And that's why they picked me to go and work with them in the summer and gave me a bit of extra money to help fund my degree. So it was a great experience. And then, of course, you know, you've got a job guaranteed, so you don't have to compete for that job at the end. So yes, these things always don't come up, but if they do, I never thought I'd get it, but I just put my hand up and said, oh, I'll give it a go.
I think you did the right thing, obviously, and I think it just
Yeah.
shows testament to have a look at the opportunities that come your way and take them. And what you will see, students, again, whether you're doing GCSEs or even earlier or doing your A levels at the moment and thinking of going on to university, think of those opportunities that might come your way, like watching a video like today and exploring different areas. And Sam has shown and spoken about how when you take one of those opportunities, where it can take you to. Brilliant, fantastic. Look, Sam. It's been great speaking to you. Physics is, like I said at the beginning, such a subject I didn't find very easy, but I find it fascinating. But I don't find it easy. So to have people who speak about it with such enthusiasm, but show you what kind of a career you have, and it does sound exciting being able to work on aeroplane engines, submarines. I just don't have the technical knowledge for it. But students watching this, you probably do, and you're thinking, okay, these are opportunities I can get to look into in the future. So go for it and do what Sam did. Get those contacts made and take those opportunities. Sam, thank you so much for today. Really, really appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thanks, everyone.